If you're trying to make professional indie rock music from home, then you are in the right place, my friend. I've been producing professionally for over a decade. I've toured the world. I've had a good amount of success in music, and I'm here to distill all of my knowledge and wisdom into practical steps that you can apply so that you can make incredible sounding indie rock or indie pop music. And I even have a special little surprise for you guys, so just stay tuned. So right before we jump into Ableton, let's go ahead and review the 5-element formula. Pretty much all popular music these days is gonna have these 5 elements, so you have to memorize these. And if you use this formula, it's gonna make a huge difference. So the first thing we're gonna need is drums. The second thing we're gonna need is bass. After that, we're gonna need mids. So for this style of music, that's gonna be mostly guitars, maybe a little piano. And then we're gonna need vocals, of course. And lastly, we will need some effects. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into Ableton. I'll put on my gigantic headphones and we will start with drums, and I'll build out a simple pattern and we can go from there. If you're following along, go ahead and open up Ableton and we'll get started. So we're actually gonna start this video off with the surprise, which is dad drums. This is a custom drum rack that I built in Ableton. I spent many thousands of dollars building out a studio, buying microphones, doing all this stuff so I could record amazing drums. That was one of the main reasons I rented out this new studio, and I recorded some incredible sounding drums, and I made them accessible in an Ableton drum rack like this. I put some sick effects options here, and I'll dive more into all this stuff at the end of the video, but just rest assured that they sound incredible, and I'll tell you how to get them if you want them at the end of the video. All right, so normally Ableton will start at a tempo of 120. I'm gonna lower my BPM probably to like 93, maybe 92. I don't know, somewhere around there. It's not too important. And what I'm gonna do is I have a couple options here. Once you drag your dad drums onto a new MIDI track, you can either highlight a section like this, press Command-Shift-M, double click on the MIDI clip, and then go ahead and draw in a drum pattern. And you can click this little headphone icon here to hear what you're clicking, like this. Just like this. And you could get some hi-hats going like this. So that's one way you can do it. Another way you can do it is you can literally just use your keyboard with this keyboard icon ticked up here, and you can play the drums in. There's a little bit of latency with mine, so I'm gonna draw my drums in, but rest assured that you could just click record like this and literally just play in your drums. Yes, they sound awesome. I'm honestly so proud of them. So I'm going to go ahead and lower my kicks, make this one a little bit louder. There we go. And all I'm doing is just making a really basic drum pattern. And if you really want to simplify drums and make them as simple as possible, you just turn on your metronome like this, which is up here to the left. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. Kicks are on the 1s and 3s. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And the snares are on the 2s and 4s, just like this. And you can just highlight your pattern like this and then press Command-D to duplicate it. All right, so that's the drum pattern I'm gonna go with right now. And honestly, it sounds awesome already. Let me show you some of these effects really quick. I got compression. I have this tape effect going as well, which just kind of makes it sound like it's recorded onto tape a little bit. I have through the wall, kind of mute it. So it sounds like it's through the wall. I got room, destroyer, widener, pitch. Yeah, so we got a lot of sick effects on this. Degrade. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave tape on there, compression maybe, add a little room. And bring these down a little bit. Nice. Okay, so remember our formula. Drums, bass, mids, vocals, and effects. We've got some drums going. Next up, we can either do bass or we can do mids. Now, I want to work on some mids because it's easier for me to write a song on guitar. Make sure to save your song into your sessions folder. I create a custom sessions folder in my Dropbox folder, so all my work is saved and uploaded to the cloud as I'm working. Go ahead and click collect all and save when you're done saving. Make sure these are all ticked yellow and then press OK. Gonna make sure we don't lose any of our work and all of our samples, everything we're using gets consolidated into one folder so we can share our project with other people and we can back it all up, all that stuff. Okay, so if you know how to play guitar, then you can record some guitar. You can use your phone microphone if you don't have a whole interface and all that stuff. You can use your laptop microphone. And if you don't know how to play guitar, you can find someone who does, or you can learn, or you can find free guitar samples online. You can use sample libraries like Splice. There's a lot of options out there. I don't want you guys to see me recording guitar and then just check out like, oh, I can't do that. Because the reality is you can, or you have some option for mids either way. If you don't have a guitar and you really want to do mids as well, you could just go into Ableton and find some sort of instrument in Ableton, some kind of synth. You could just find like E-piano Rhodes. You can watch my video on music theory. And once you're done watching my video on music theory, you can program a chord progression like this. actually kind of like that a lot. I think I'm going to keep that. But if you need to learn music theory, you can check out my video on it right up here. And I'll teach you all the theory you need to know to produce great sounding music. Okay, let's go ahead and record some guitar. And I'm just going to record a chord progression that's the same as those chords. This guitar is so sick. It's my Music Man Cutlass. I got it set up by the legend John Mooey. Shout out to you, John. I don't know if you watch my videos. Probably not. We're gonna tune real quick. All right, we're rocking and rolling now. Okay. All right, so I just recorded the same guitar part twice, just a little something something to keep things interesting. This is what it sounds like, just totally dry. I just recorded one left and one right. Nice. That's kind of nice. Hang on, I just want to try this on guitar really quick. All right. My timing isn't that bad. It's the screen recording software that throws it off. Ba-da-da-da-da. All right, just a little something in the background. Let me go ahead and record some bass as well. And I'm just gonna label these with Command R, EGL for electric guitar lead, and this is gonna be EGR for electric guitar rhythm. And then we got our keys, and we have our dad drums. Best thing I ever did. Best thing I ever created, other than my Chorus Complete Producer Pro. Okay, let's get some bass going. Oof. I know what we're gonna do. Hang on. I need to grab a little something. I also really have to pee. Ha! This thing is sick. It's gonna make our bass sound like a 60s bass. It mutes the strings. It's called a Nordy mute. Shout out to that brand. And I'm gonna play with a pick. And I have flat wounds on this bass, so. Yeah, it's also sick for... Oh, I just realized you guys can't even hear the bass. That's just embarrassing. Now you can hear it, right? Well, you can tell by the way I use my walk of a woman's band. All right, let's tune this puppy. Yeah. All right, we are rocking, truly. And we are rolling. I'm gonna track some bass for this, try to get some cool 60s sounding bass with a pick and the Nordy mute and some flat wound strings. All right, couple things. I want to add some more low end in the kick. So I'm going to go ahead and just go to the kick right here. There's a specific EQ for this kick, and I just want to add low end. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's sub bass. For some stuff, you really want some low end in the kick like that. All right, I'm going to put a little compression on it. I like waves, but honestly, you could put an Ableton compressor on it. It's not a big deal at all. You know what? Let's go ahead and use Ableton for the EQ. Just drag an EQ8 onto here, boost that low. Let's go ahead and actually add another one and just scoop out the lows above like 30 or 40 hertz. Okay, we're rocking and rolling. I just keep saying that. All right, moving right along. If you have an active instrument, meaning it has a battery in it, always make sure to unplug it. Otherwise, the battery will die. You know, this whole style, this whole genre, a lot of it is kind of like imperfect, and that's part of what I love about it. I'm gonna go ahead and add a little chorus to this guitar. Let's try chorus classic. Nice. Let's just try some overdrive. Overdrive, and we'll bring the drive down. Okay, so unfortunately, I kept recording, but I ran out of space on my memory card and didn't realize it until way too late. So let me show you guys what I did during that time. I just did a little processing on the guitar. Just a little bit of overdrive, chorus, EQ, and compression. Feel free to pause and copy these settings if you want to get a similar sound. And I also sent those guitars to some reverb. All the sends and returns do in Ableton is it'll send a signal like this guitar down here to the return track. And on this return track, there's some reverb. What this does is it allows us to have just a guitar signal by itself. And then it adds reverb on top of it. The other way to do it is we can put reverb directly on the guitar track in Ableton like this and play with the dry wet. But doing it with the sends and returns is cool because you can really control the reverb and control how much you want to add on top of the dry signal. So that's the guitar. And then for the chorus, I wanted to add some sort of like plucking piano type thing like this. So all I did to make that was I just pressed Command-Shift-T to make a new MIDI track. I copied and pasted our chords from earlier, and then I just went into Instruments and I looked for some sort of piano sound in Ableton, and I dragged it right onto that MIDI track. And then I went in and I highlighted all the notes. I held Shift and used the arrow keys to shorten them down, just like this. And then I held Option and dragged them out like this. And I just kept adjusting until we had our chords like this. And then I added some reverb, which was kind of built into this sound. And then I also pitched it up an octave. To do that, I clicked in the piano roll. I pressed Command-A to select all the notes and hold Shift and press the up arrow. Actually sounds really good, I think. But I have a piano in the studio, I mic'd it up and everything, and I figured I might as well use it because, you know, I went through all the trouble to mic it up, so I recorded it and this is what it sounds like. Beautiful, right? Absolutely gorgeous, loving it. And what I did with that was I sent it to a return track here, Bright Room. I added this reverb to this return track and I just sent it to the return track by turning up this middle return area right here. That's what it sounds like with that piano. So we kind of have our song starting to get structured out a little bit. Pretty clear that this is like the verse part with the bass. And then here's like our chorus part. You know, nice and open and big. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna pause the video and I'm gonna write a song to this. I have what I think is the best songwriting technique and I use Ableton to do it. And this technique allows you to not have to play an instrument, so you're not just thinking about playing the instrument the whole time, and it captures all your ideas as you're singing them, as you're coming up with them. So I believe it gives you like the most mental space and bandwidth to write the best songs possible and not be overwhelmed by trying to remember like, oh, what was that idea? So to learn my songwriting method, check out the video right up there and I'll be back as soon as I'm done writing something. Real quick, if you're enjoying this video at all, I would love if you would consider subscribing and just give me the chance to help you make the best music that you're capable of. Seriously, you have so much potential and all you need is somebody to guide you and then to actually apply the techniques for yourself. It's free for you and it helps me out. So yeah, subscribe if you want to. Okay, back to the video. Alrighty, so I wrote a song, I recorded my vocals, and it's all kind of come together now. And I really think it's worth mentioning. Songwriting is the core of music. It's like the foundation. Obviously there's music theory and stuff as well. But like if you can write a good song, producing it is usually such a breeze in my opinion. But sometimes it takes a lot longer to write a song than to produce a song. It probably took me about, I don't know, 30 minutes or 40 minutes or something to do the production for this, like before I paused and started writing the song. And then I probably spent like maybe 2 hours writing the song and doing vocals. So just to give you an idea of time frame stuff, that's how long it can take to write and do vocals and all that. But all that to say, I'll play you my indie song. All right, we got the lyrics up and we are ready to go. Here we go.
Hey, you stuck inside, won't you come out tonight? I just need a moment of your time.
The dad drums sound awesome.
This foolish heart of mine, it sure can walk the line, but you pull me to the other side. I'm reckless without you, out of my head. Just stay when it gets hard again. I'm stuck on the outside, up to my neck. Just stay when it gets hard again. Ooh.
I'm just messing around at the end. Yeah. So that's like the instrumental. Without the vocal, lead vocal, it's like this going into the chorus. The only thing I really added was these vocals here, which were just singing some chords. So I just like found each note in the chord progression and sang each of those notes, one left and one right. So I sang it twice and panned them left and right. So like those together. Then the next layer. And the next layer. Oof. Lovely. And for this kind of stuff, a lot of times I'll just sing the first natural thing that comes to me. I'll listen to the vocals here and I'll be like, out of my head. And I'll think, oh, what would sound good with that? Like, ooh, ooh, like notes like that. And then I'll just build chords off of those notes. Out of my head, just stay when it gets hard again. And you might be thinking, dang, that's a good melody, because that's what I'm thinking. But you know what? I actually came up with that melody when I went pee. Remember I recorded this when I got back from the bathroom? I'm falling hard again. Because I was like, dang, that seems like such a rewarding melody. And then the chorus. Just stay when it gets hard again. And part of the reason why that sounds so good is because there's a reverb that automates to turn up when I sing those notes. So let me just solo the vocal for you. Check this out. Let me show you. Out of my head, just stay when it gets hard again. So we have this send right here. It's sending to Valhalla vintage verb on the default setting. And my goodness, it just sounds so epic and huge. It sounds huge, but you don't need to use a vintage verb for this. You could literally just use an Ableton reverb. You can go to audio effects, reverb. You could do like cathedral. Don't you stay when it gets hard again. Basically the same effect. I just like Valhalla. Stay when it gets hard again. But it's really not that different. And this is just the vocals. And a lot of times what I like to do with vocals is I try to make it so if I just play the vocals by themselves, it almost carries the song. So that's what I try to do with background vocals. I'm reckless without you, out of my head. Just stay when it gets hard again. I'm stuck on the outside, up to my neck. Just stay when it gets hard. My guess is you might have this stuck in your head afterwards. Oh, I love how the drums sound on this. So all that to say, you know the drill. It's drums, bass, mids, vocals, and effects. As far as effects for this one, I didn't put any crazy swirly sweeps or risers or anything like that. I just played with the reverb on the vocal and I thought it sounded, chef's kiss. One of the most exciting things about all this is that you can do this too. I'd say probably the hardest thing out of all this is getting good drum sounds, but I'll put a link in the description to get Dad Drums Volume 1. Yeah, I'm gonna charge you for them because I work my butt off to make them amazing and they are really worth something. I've sent these drums out to a few of my most respected producer friends and they're helping me make the final little tweaks to get them absolutely perfect. But by the time this video comes out, they will be good to go and ready for you to get. So if you want these drums, just check out the link in the description. And just before you freak out, these are only for Ableton 12 and up. So if you have Ableton 11, you gotta upgrade, but most people have Ableton 12, so not a big deal there. Also, it works for Ableton 12 standard. You don't have to have Ableton Suite. And lastly, I would be remiss if I didn't bring up the fact that I have some amazing courses. I have a course that teaches you all genres of music. It's called Complete Producer Pro. It teaches you all the fundamentals you need to build out songs just like this, except I go into way more detail. We build out a pop song. I also have a drill style beats MIDI course within that, but I cover everything from like music theory, songwriting, Ableton, obviously production, mixing, mastering, distribution, all that stuff. Then I also have an entirely separate course that comes with Complete Producer Pro called EDM Producer Pro. It's all about dance music. You can buy EDM Producer Pro separately if you just want to focus on dance music, but all that to say, I've been working for the last 5 years on these programs, and I really think if you're wanting to make professional quality music from home, then you should check out the courses. There's also a 30-day refund policy, so if you don't like the courses, then just let me know and you can get a refund. Alrighty guys, if you made it this far, wow, I can't believe you sat through me pitching all of my products, but hey, I want to help you guys, and if you have any questions or comments or anything like that, just throw them down in the comment section. I don't bite. I try to read the comments and reply when I can, and I'm so thankful for those of you guys that watch my videos, especially those of you who watch to the end, because then it shows the videos to more people and everything just grows. It's wonderful. More than anything, I appreciate your time so much, and remember to stop making excuses and start making music. Cheers.